King's University is a small university in Edmonton, and we have been working on building our relationships with First Nations communities. In 2014, when the Truth and Reconciliation Commission came through Edmonton, we closed down classes and had all of our students head over to experience what was going on at that and to take away from it some clearer ideas about our relationships and how to rebuild those. As a result, they built a bench that we call the Truth and Reconciliation Bench. And every year from that point on, we've had a ceremony where we reaffirm our commitments to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission with First Nations leaders who come and lead us through that, and the students all gather around that area, and that's an important part of our experience. But we've also been looking for ways to expand that. So this spring, we added having a stole added to the academic garb for our graduating students who identify as First Nations. And they received that from a First Nations leader who is also connected to our faith community, and it has on it symbols that are important to Kings and that are important to the First Nations groups. And that was really moving this year when they received those stoles and were recognized not just by the First Nations leaders, but also by the entire community that was gathered there.
One of the examples that I'm particularly proud of, and that is in fact quite recent, is at the University of Lethbridge. We recently changed our policy around Convocation regalia, and in fact now encourage Indigenous students to wear traditional or their cultural regalia at Convocation, at the ceremonies, in lieu of the university's regalia. And along with their hood. So it's a huge change from my perspective. It gives them the chance to wear their traditional regalia with pride on stage, and it's really, in my mind, a meaningful way to be inclusive. And so this was introduced this past year.